Meeting of the Greater Lafourche Port Commission will now come to order. Mr. Farrell Sharpton, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Colley, will you do roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Seat A, Chucky Sheremy.
Here.
Seat B, Tom Pete.
Here.
Seat C, Jimmy Lafont.
Here.
Seat D, Rodney Disclair.
Here.
Seat E, Reggie Leday.
Here.
Seat F, Larry Griffin.
Here.
Seat G, John Mellison.
Here.
Seat H, Mike Calais here. Seat I, Chris Calais.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mr. President.
All right, Mr. Colley, thank you. Next, we have approved minutes for December 13th meeting.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Larry
Second.
Griffin, seconded by Mr. John Mellison. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Next, we have Director's Report. Mr. Chasson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Happy New Year to everyone. First is Northern Expansion. Northern Expansion Slip D Bulkhead, GIS Engineering.
Good morning, John Plaisance with GIS Engineering. As y'all may recall, a few months ago, we took bids on this project. They were very high, so we rejected them. So Davey and I are sitting down to try to figure out a path forward to be able to get this bulkhead built at a reasonable cost.
Yep.
All right.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, John. All right, moving on to airport projects. First is aircraft operations. In the month of December, we had 1,678 operations, 12,831 passengers, and 18,637 vehicles. Our totals for 2023 are 20,881 operations, which are takeoffs and landings, 132,419 passengers, and 249,939 vehicles. Any questions? All right. Airport Connector Road and Bridge, Piciola and Associates. Joe.
Yeah, Sea-Level Construction is the contractor. Lately, they've been laying asphalt. They laid most of the asphalt from 3235 to LA1, and they've also done most of the work on 3235. Right now, they're concentrating on building up the road on LA1 itself, and they're going to do 308 next. So we have to build a ramp up to catch the elevation of the new bridge. So they're working on that now. They're also pouring concrete still on the main columns. Today they're pouring this column right here, which is the machinery deck.
Okay.
So that'll be done today, and then they're going to move that whole assembly over to the LA1 side and do the same thing. We do have a change order on the agenda. It's change order number 8 in the amount of $27,600. DOTD had requested that we get some special hazardous construction insurance, make the contractor get it. We did that for a while, and then we've determined that we don't need it any longer. So this is for the premium for last year, the months that we had it in effect. And now it's canceled, so we're not going to be paying it anymore. So we recommend you approve that later in the agenda.
All right.
All right. Any questions for Joe? Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Okay, the Pappy LED upgrade project, GIS Engineering.
As y'all may recall, this project has been substantially complete for quite some time, but there was a part on the Port Commission side that wasn't functioning correctly, so the replacement part for that should be coming in next week. We'll put it back all in place and test it again, make sure it's working.
Any questions on that? Okay, the fuel system rehabilitation project.
This is another project that the bids came in very high, but we were able to get another path forward. We are advertising again. Bids are due February 7th.
Okay. Any questions? Thank you, John. Moving on to other projects, the flotation canal and front commercial marina dredge project, Piciola and Associates.
Yeah, Coastal Dredging's the contractor. He's pulled off as part of that agreement. He's working on the Leeville project right now. he's scheduled to move back on this project at the completion of the dredging over there or March 1st, whichever comes first. So,
Any questions for Joe?
thank you.
Thank you. The Leeville LA1 Construction Canal Dredging and Mitigation, Angela Design. Sandy.
Sandy Guidry with Angela Design. Coastal Dredging is continuing work on this. They have, we expect them to be complete in about 2 to 3 months. They have finished filling in Site 11 and have moved on. We are working with DOTD and the bridge contractor just to make sure they stay ahead of the bridge and what they need to do there. We're expecting the first 1,000 feet to be completed probably next week.
Okay. All right. Any questions on that? All right, the Fouchon Beach project.
For this one, we are currently advertising and we're scheduled to take bids on February 8th.
Okay. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. All right, the Hurricane Ida repair projects, the airport hangar building demolition, GIS engineering.
Okay, this project is complete. As y'all can see in the picture, it's a clean slab. We are working with staff and y'all consultants to put together a plan to replace it. We submitted a set of plans and specs before Christmas. We've gotten some comments back and we're addressing those.
Okay. Any questions for John? Thank you. And the inland debris removal project, that project is complete. We end the lien period, which ends later this month. So that'll be done. That should be, the clear lien should be approved at the February meeting. Any questions on that? All right, that concludes my report, Mr. President. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Shesso. Now we're going to public comment. Any public comment?
Joe.
Mr. Joe, say Rep. Mr. Joe.
Thank you all very much, Commissioners. I'm here without really much prepared information other than to give a few updates of the recent inauguration, our new governor, many other state officials, as well as a new batch of state legislators that I got to meet and will be working with. My own inauguration, again, thank the people of District 54 for allowing me to run for another term.
Congratulations, Joe.
Congratulations.
It looked, you know, the overall outlook is very optimistic for the next 4 years with the current administration. That's about all I can say right now. As y'all know, we're going to be going into 2 special sessions. One has been called already for redistricting, and another one will eventually be called on crime. In the meantime, I'm personally pleased to see the news on the offshore wind turbine being finalized with Gulf Wind Technologies. For that energy addition that we want to bring to the port and to our entire region as an alternative revenue stream for many of the businesses down here and port clients. Getting this test turbine to be utilized here in this area, I think is a good research and a good experiment. I think it's a good idea. I also have an update on the Golden Meadow Bridge. All this week, equipment will be continued to be mobilized and moved. They started actually Monday, the day of the bad weather. They brought in the first equipment, and all this week, I'm in close contact with the owner of Reliant Industrial Construction of Lafayette. The owner told me that this week will be full mobilization of all the equipment and the materials, and that next week they'll begin it. It's probably going to be a 4-month repair process, and somewhere within the 4 months, they should get the bridge to a point where vehicle traffic can pass. There's also a lot of work going on regarding the change of the control system in the house as well. That's going to get an upgrade. And I know a lot of people have asked about blast, paint, and repair. And again, I'm going to reiterate that is on DOTD schedule fiscal year 26-27, that the Golden Meadow Bridge is set for a full refurb where gearbox, prime movers, cables, everything gets looked at, including blast and paint. So we got to wait for that, but we got to get our bridge back up in hopefully the next 4 to 6 months. shooting for before hurricane season, and looking forward to seeing Harbor Patrol police vehicles passing in front of 308 in front of my house in the meantime. Other projects, I thank Joe Picciola for the very recent picture of the pump truck loading cement right now, because I think that was done this morning. Or yesterday maybe, but it looks very, very current because I just passed there. And I think that's about it. I mean, the other things I could talk about is the legislature that I have planned, upcoming. Again, I'm going to put forth, again, a bill to put on the ballot for Louisiana citizens to vote for a constitutional amendment to dedicate any revenue that comes into the state from offshore renewables to be paired with the Go Mesa money to go directly to coastal restoration. I'm going to do that one. And I'm also doing, I know there's a lot of activity going on with alternative oyster cultivation in the ports jurisdiction, but for Grand Isle, they need legislative control. They need legislative help in order for the Grand Isle aquaculture lease to be expanded, and that's one of the bills that I'm going to be running this year. And any others that the port has that y'all would like for me to get done during the course of the year, be happy to entertain it. Just know that the time is running. That some bills, being local bills, need to be filed in the next few days. So, in order for it to be properly advertised in the journals of record. And that's all I got. Here to serve. Always happy to come to these meetings and hear about the progress, the fantastic numbers of the airport, and continued success of the port and its development. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Joe. Any other public comment? All right. Going into Executive Committee. Members are Chucky Sherman, Chairman, Ronnie J. Gisclair, Larry Griffin, and Jimmy Lafont. First, we have consider approving 2024 Cooperative Endeavor Agreement with South Lafourche Economic Council, Restore and Retreat, and LA1 Coalition.
All right, that's South Louisiana Economic Council. This cooperative endeavor agreement we do on an annual basis. It says that we contribute a total of $23,000. South Louisiana Economic Council would get $10,000. LA1 Coalition, we get $1,000. Restore and Retreat, we get $12,000. And in turn, SLEC will assist the port with economic development, infrastructure improvements, coastal restoration needs, and more specifically, they would be directly responsible for implementation of some functions for LA1 Coalition and Restore and Retreat. Recommendation to approve.
Need a motion moved by Mike Colley, second by Reggie Ledet. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed. Next, we have consider approving a request from Argent LNG to lease property in Fouchard.
Okay, so Argent LNG has a right of first refusal right now. They would like to turn that into a lease. Their request is to have no rent because for 24 months, as y'all know, LNG projects have a long lead time in terms of having to go through a lot of federal regulatory issues. So the request would be 24 months of no rent, and then once they start to get certain milestones, that they would start to pay a third of the rent with 3 milestones. And ultimately, at the end of it, if within 3 years there's nothing going on, then we would have the right to cancel the lease. Okay, so that would be as part of that. You know, we've gone through several iterations of this over the years. This is another one. Our recommendation is to approve this lease as they move forward through the process.
Yeah, moved by Mr. Larry Griffin, second by Mr. Tom P. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed. Next, we have consider approving the nomination for the South Lafourche Levy District appointment.
All right, we advertised, we had one name submittal, and that's Mr. Monty Vague. Recommendation to approve.
Move.
Moved by Mr. John Melisson, second by Mr. Jimmy Lafont. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Just wanted to say thanks, Mr. Keith Guidry, the chairman of the board over there, the Levy District, for attending our meeting. And while we say that, thanks to Fred Trowbridge from Congressman Scalise's office for attending. I see Doug back there from the governor's office now. Thanks you for attending, and thanks Councilman Lorraine for attending our meeting today.
All right, next we have getting out of executive meeting. Going to Permits and Waterways Committee. Members are Rodney Gisclair, Chairman, Reggie Leggett, Tom Pete, and Chucky Sherman. Mr. Gisclair.
Thank you, Mr. President. All we have today is a Shell Pipeline Company permit. We'll review that permit, and it's to construct a platform on the facility to elevate its equipment and to provide docking facilities for its vessels. The platform will also include a helideck. And Mr. President, that concludes the permits and waterways for today.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gisclair.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to Construction Development Committee. Members are Chris Colley, Chairman, Mike Colley, Jim Lafourche, and Chucky Sherman. Mr. Colley, your turn.
Good morning, and thank you, Mr. President. First, we have consider approving the bids for the 2024 construction material supplier.
All right, we had bids on most of our items with the exception of items 13, 14, and 15, 13, 14, 15, and 16, sorry. Recommendation to approve all the highlighted bids.
Move.
All right, got a motion by Mr. Chris Colley, second by Mr. Jimmy Lafourche. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Next, consider approving the bid for the 2024 fuel supplier.
All right, so we have 2024 fuel supplier, Waggisback Oil Company was the only bidder. They've been having our contract for several years. They bid the same number as the last half of last year at 22.95 cent markup. Recommendation to approve.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Chris Colley, second by Mr. Rodney Gisclair. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Next, consider approving change order number 8 from Sea Level Construction for the Airport Connector Road and Bridge project.
All right, as Joe mentioned, this is a change order for $27,600 for insurance policy.
All right. Move. Moved by Mr. Chris Colley, second by Mr. Tom Pete. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Mr. President, this concludes the Construction and Development Committee report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Colley. Now we're going into finance. Members are John Mellison, Jr., Chairman, Larry Griffin, Chris Colley, and Chucky Sherman. Mr. Mellison.
Good morning, and thank you, Mr. President. We'll begin by consider approving payment of the December 2023 invoices and recognizing expenditures over $25,000. We'll begin with Sea Level Construction Incorporated, I'm stuck in a quagmire. $714,415.78. There was too many fours right here. And that's for the Airport Connector Road and Bridge project. Next, we have GIS Engineering, $136,690.74. That's for slip deep bulkhead, belt pass dredging, Hurricane Ida damages and restoration, Port Fourchon marsh creation projects. Item 3, Lafourche Parish Fire District Number 3, $100,880.03, and that's for an intergovernmental agency agreement. Item 4, Angelette Design LLC, $84,930.47, and that's for Bayou Lafourche and Flotation Canal bulkhead, along with Flotation Canal bank line protection. Item 5, PCOL and Associates, $28,586.40. That's for the Airport Road and Bridge. Item 6, CSRS Disaster Recovery Management, LLC, $27,725 even, and that's for disaster grant management for Hurricane Ida. These expenditures, along with the rest, bring us to a grand total of $2,082,132.38. And Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion we accept these expenditures.
Okay, I got a motion by Mr. John Mellison, second by Mr. Larry Griffin. We have any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Next, we have, as discussed in Monday night's committee meetings, consider approving the December 2023 preliminary unaudited financial statements. Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion we accept these.
All right, got a motion by Mr. John Mellison, second by Mr. Reggie Leggett. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
And last, we have consider approving out-of-state travel and training. We have Director Chasson, along with Director of IT John Crochet, and Homeland Security Specialist Corporal Scott Bynum, attending the Port of the Future Conference in Texas, April 1st through the 4th. This is the only one we have, and I'd like to make a motion. We accept this.
All right, got a motion by Mr. John Millerson, second by Mr. Mike Cully. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Mr. President, this was a short and sweet agenda, apparently.
I know, this is
today.
one of our quickest ones yet.
This concludes the Finance Committee report, sir.
All right, Mr. Millerson, thank you. We got any other business? Mr. Chasson
I
again.
want to make the meeting longer.
Okay.
No,
Yeah, let's do.
No, I just wanted to mention that this afternoon here in our meeting room, Fouchon Almonds Association at 3 o'clock is doing a check presentation for the grant recipients for this year. We hadn't had the ability to do that in a few years in terms of give grants, but we're able to raise about $43,000 with our golf tournament and our road, mainly from the golf tournament. So we're able to give away $43,000 to local nonprofits in our community in this region. So very, we're members of FOA and we're very proud of that group and what we've been able to do over the last many years since we started several years ago. So I just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
All right. Any other business? All right, public comment.
Yeah,
All right, Mr. You want to, public
Remind-
comment or other business?
remind us to go and eat at your house. Okay, that's my public comment.
All right, Mr. Griffin. All right, public comment.
I move that we adjourn, Mr.
I got a
President.
motion by Mr. Jimmy Lafont. We got a second by Mr. Tom Peet. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. I'd like to thank everyone for coming to the meeting, and remember, it's a new year. Everyone be joyous and happy, and hope this year is gonna be prosperous for everyone. Meeting adjourned.